coded in the laws. Ink still bleeds, treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake, but the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect, but they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights roll back while they smile and clap. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey mega fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still, just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist, just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God, bodies ain't temples, just state-owned pods. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey mega fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills, stacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright, cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight. Gilead's here, ain't no grace, and those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.
Oh, baby. He said nobody who healthcare could be so complicated. The Obamacare debate was 6 months litigated. Years of med school debt got capitalized. Insurance claim forms so high they nearly capsized. But he wouldn't know the frustration of trying to get prior authorization. Everybody knew, the whole world knew, the doctors, the lawyers, the CBO crew. Oh, 30,000 pages already reviewed. It wasn't a big secret, we knew. He said people don't realize Obama deported, but the porter-in-chief is what La Raza retorted. Obama went after the violent folks and felons, Trump nabbed the dishwashers and people picking melons. But Donald's argument shows that he's not very bright. If Obama made some wrongs, two wrongs don't make a right. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. Univision, AP, the fact check crew. Oh, acting all surprised that the sky is blue. It wasn't no big secret, we knew. He asked who knew a virus could be so contagious. Virologist blinked at someone so outrageous. He was surprised at how many countries existed. No wonder when the virus spread, he the one who missed it. Spread them out, slit red in every deadly hue. World Health Memo said we already knew. Everybody knew, oh, the whole world knew. Oh, the lab coats, the leaders, and we were with the flu. Oh, the nations of the world, more than 192. It wasn't a big secret, we knew. You unveil oxygen like contraband air. Like 6 there. You claiming to discover chess. War called money was his big surprise. Iraq has oil, can you believe your eyes? He said, we are divided, a surprise to no one thinking. And he was most surprised a Republican was Lincoln. Everybody knew, the world knew, the Christians, the Muslims, atheists, and the Jews. Like being shot, they have animals at the zoo. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Gather round, everyone, and I'll tell you a tale about an orange-faced buffoon who should be in a jail. When people say he's done something that goes beyond the pale, he will shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills. A hoax, he said it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, changing a storm path with black marker strokes. Confronted with the truth, to say it's all a hoax. Casting mail-in ballots is something that he's done. Now he wants to ban them for each and every one. He claims it's for integrity in each election, but he won't believe the results unless it's him that's won. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, they'll fool you with distractions like real sugar in Cokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the MAGA base to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he'll keep on gaslighting up until he croaks. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax.
not for peers. What they call treason, if chosen name, is patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, Biden would flip. Had Biden done it, all numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
A self-proclaimed king, a groper in chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water. They're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals. The swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk comes the left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. Unmasking hypocrisy, the truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. 'Cause Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right.
And welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. Welcome, sparklers. Welcome, Danimals. Welcome, people who might just be along for the ride. Thank you, Andrea, CSL, Susie, Aaron, and all the other House Sparks mods for facilitating the raid over here. And thank you all, sparklers, for hanging with me a little longer to discuss the the impending doom of, the continued Trump presidency and all the other bullshit that comes along with it. Anyway, so I said jokingly I couldn't see Steve, but I do see Steve because
if it's no Scottish, it's crap.
There you go. Again, lots of people in chat today, so I can't really say hello to everybody. Thank you, Trish, for resubscribing for 5 months. Appreciate you. Say, what do you think about a new AG? We will get to that in a second. Let's see, what else do we have to look at? Julie, CSL, Squiggy, Pizza Dude, Nine Inch Toenails, or Villaby. Good to see you all over on Twitch. Jeff, Nefarious Enough, JB Nation, Vincent, Mad Mac, Susie, everybody. Good to see everybody over there as well over on YouTube. We will try and say hello to as everybody as possible. Thank you, David, for being a Liberal Danimal for 3 months as well. Thank you for that. I was looking at the I guess we'll start off today with a little lighthearted news or whatever. Apparently Chuck Grassley had a very big loss today, or recently. Beth, not a relative or anything, but they named their vacuum cleaner Beth, and he was very, very, very attached to his vacuum cleaner. I don't want to know how attached to his vacuum cleaner he was that he would give it a name.
Oh my.
But still, he was very attached to the vacuum cleaner. I would say that his office might suck less, but then again, he's a Republican, so the chances of them sucking any less is just bad. They'd probably finding a way to suck more regardless of the vacuum cleaner. A lot of politicians do say that they go to Washington to go clean it up, but to name your own vacuum cleaner is a little ridiculous. And of course, I was wondering if he could get Kiss to write a song to Beth. I mean, they already have a Beth song, but might it be like, Beth, I hear you cleaning? And I don't know. I haven't had enough time to put together a song. I tried to throw something into like ChatGPT or something, and it did not want to do like a exact parody. I don't know why it said it couldn't. So I guess they're not quite ready to take over the planet yet. If Weird Al is better at writing parodies than ChatGPT, I mean, who would be better than Weird Al anyway, right? I'm just waiting for. I just can't find the chord. Just a few more hours, and I'll clean right there with you. Or maybe I'll come clean to you, because Republicans usually have to come clean about something, right? Regardless of whether or not it's, cleaning an office or coming clean about some BS that they've done. Jolie has been a liberal danimal for 31 months. Thank you, Jolie. Always appreciate your support as well. Jeff, Peter Criss probably needs money, or did he die? I think Peter Criss is still alive. I'm not exactly sure. Just to give you how big of an ego Gene Simmons has, Peter Criss did write the song for his girlfriend. The girlfriend was not named Beth. And Gene Simmons was apparently like, I think we should name it Beth. I think we should change the name to Beth. So now Peter Criss, and they have to start singing a song to somebody who's not his girlfriend, that he wrote for his girlfriend. So, and Aaron, shocked. I know you're all shocked that both Jolie and Aaron were liberal danimals for 31 months apiece, because they are the OGs, not just the mods, but they were some of the first subscribers to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right, as soon as I got monetized. So, appreciate y'all for all of your support that you bring. Pam Matthews goes, probably named it after his favorite DC escort.
Oh my.
Very well, maybe. Who knows? I don't want to think about Chuck Grassley and his sex life. And look at that, Mad Max, a member for 21 months, a liberal danimal. Jolie and Aaron kicked my arse by 10 months. Haha. So, but I still appreciate you just the same. Well, maybe not just the same, because you mod, they mod, and they do a whole bunch of other stuff for me as well. So, but I do appreciate you a bunch. So, so I think Jenny or Benny told me about this last week. What about Beth and how Beth was rewritten, or about the vacuum cleaner? Because I just saw the news about the vacuum cleaner today. So, but yes, happy Daniversary to everyone. David, Mad Mac, Aaron, Jolie, Trish, everybody celebrating Nick 56 Nick Rich for 30 months. Awesome. Lots of Daniversaries today. Appreciate it. I don't think I have any more memberships to give out today. I think I've already given out my free 10 ones. So it doesn't make sense for me to gift memberships that I have to pay for, because whatever. I get the benefit from y'all do it. Hey, hey, Chad. Chad says just the tip.
Oh my.
Yes, so thank you very much, Chad, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you as well. Anyway, so lots of stuff we want to talk about. Have y'all heard, excuse me, jeez. Some of y'all, probably came in after the song came in, the We Knew song, It Wasn't a Big Secret, We Knew, that song. Let's see if we can pull it up really quick, just to play a little bit of the intro of it. We're not going to play the whole darn thing, but let's do that. Everybody knew. There it is.
Oh, baby. He said nobody who healthcare could be so complicated. The Obamacare debate was 6 months litigated. Years of med school debt got capitalized. Insurance claim forms so high they nearly capsized. But he wouldn't know the frustration of trying to get prior authorization. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. The doctors, the lawyers, the CBO crew. Oh, 30,000 pages of ready review. It wasn't a big secret. We knew.
Anyway, we're not going to play the whole song today simply because it's already played during the beginning. We might play it again at the end. Who knows? But there's a reason why I'm playing that song. It's because of this audio, specifically from Donald Trump when he was mocking the Democrats as Democrats.
They're good at coming up with words, but
They're good at coming up with words, but I'm the best. I make the best words. Nobody has better words than me.
came up with a good word too. They're Democrats, dumb. You take the B out. Most people don't know that dumb has a B, okay?
Most people don't know that dumb has a B. Only the people who are really, really dumb don't know that dumb has a B in it. Like, everybody knows that dumb has a B in it, you know? So as soon as he said that, I was like, do I need to make everybody knew too, Electric Boogaloo or something like that? Because holy crap, who doesn't know except for the super, super, super dumb, aka the poorly educated folks that he said he loved after the 2016 Nevada primaries, how many people don't know that dumb is spelled D-U-M-B? I mean, if you watch Gallagher back in the day, you knew that dumb was spelled, or you have dumb, D-U-M-B, or whatever, or was it numb, N-U-M-B? I think it might have been numb, but still, there are words that rhyme like that have a B at the end, and you're dumb if you don't know that, and if you're dumb if you think most people don't know it either. So anyway, 5280 Andy says, Donald, you're so smart. Exactly. And thank you again, Trish, for gifting a sub over on Twitch. So yeah. Feed on dashboard sent 6-7 for 67 joules. Had to do it, right? Steve, if you look up gullible in the dictionary, yeah, actually they took out gullible from the dictionary, right? That's the thing. But yeah, so I'm definitely going to have to isolate that to go along with a bunch of my other Trump things like
Islamic Republic of Japan.
And
I said, well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen.
And it's pretty bad when RFK Jr. has to actually, go ahead and correct you on something. That means that the brainworm is smarter than Trump. So, anyway. So, again, that's that. So, had to play that. Again, Trisha asked me in chat how I felt about Todd Blanche. Of course, I've been ranting about Todd Blanche for a bit now and his stupidity. But one of the things that just caught me off guard, and I guess he's clarified it a little bit since I first saw either the audio or the video of it, because there was confirmation led to Justice Department hung by a thread. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche told faith leaders on a private call that he was preparing to take action to roll back abortion access nationwide. On the recording of the call posted online Thursday by the religious group Intercessors for America and hosted by the White House Faith Office, Blanche lamented that the Trump administration's effort to restrict abortion are taking longer than we want. Of course, back in 2016, I was like, if you elect Donald Trump president, abortion rights are going to be rolled back because you're going to get rid of Roe v. Wade. And everyone's like, no, you're stupid. You're stupid for saying that. That's never going to happen. Roe v. Wade is settled law. Well, people like myself and Hal and other people warned y'all, and y'all don't want to listen. So, not y'all, but the rest of them. Y'all who are watching already knew and already had that concern as well. Let's see, working hand in hand with federal agencies in the White House so that the Dobbs decision becomes permanent in every single state. That is a meaningless statement. The Dobbs decision is permanent in every single state. It is until another Supreme Court comes along and says, no, it's not. If you have a smarter Supreme Court that looks at the Dobbs decision and see how completely stupidly it was written, but Dobbs is in effect in all 50 states, because all Dobbs says is that the states have the authority to regulate abortion and to ban it where they want. That's where the states have the authority. It's the authority to determine who can or who cannot get an abortion, aka the ability to determine if you have a right to an abortion is left to the states. Now, of course, here in Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right, we believe that the individual should have only the individual should have the decision, the ability to make the decision whether or not an abortion is right for them. You don't want to get an abortion, fine, don't get one, but nobody else should be forced to follow your religious code. If you think that abortions are unethical, don't have them, but don't tell anybody else that they have to remain pregnant for the state. But no, this idiot says that he wants to make the Dobbs decision become permanent. It's already in every state. They don't like the fact that you can get mail order abortion pills like mifepristone and misoprostol. They don't like that, but they have to deal with the FDA guidelines. And hell, even Alito was like unwilling to pull the trigger and block that with the FDA guidelines or whatever, despite the fact that the states are trying to push back on allowing abortion pills to be mail-ordered in the states. So Blanche goes, we don't have complete victory yet. We will have victory, and victory will be soon, and it will be permanent. Well, as we all know, people who thought that Roe v. Wade was permanent found out that it wasn't. So guess what? Dobbs isn't permanent either. And once we have more cases of people risking death, or people being kept alive as a baby incubator when they're brain dead, just so they can gestate to term, you're going to have more and more people saying, you know what, this isn't what we signed up for, despite the fact that the people who knew that that's exactly what they were signing up for when they voted in Donald Trump as president. Let's see. In addition to those broad pronouncements, Blanche appeared to suggest that specific restrictions were coming on telehealth prescription and mail delivery of abortion pills and putting practices and policies into place. Asked to explain what Blanche meant by victory and by making the high court decision, quote, permanent in every single state, the Justice Department said his comments were made solely with respect to mail order abortion drugs and did not elaborate further. Of course, you don't believe anything that comes out of this administration if you have a working brain cell, because you understand that the administration will lie to you. Like all of those people who were like, oh, Todd Blanche signed a letter that said he was, or had a note or a memo that says that he's not going to have the 1776 fund available for the people who feel wronged by the government, and that was okay for them. Like, dumbasses like Bill Cassidy, dumbasses and all the other Republicans who, like Susan Collins or whatever, all the Republicans that should have turned on Trump but didn't, those people are going to be looking backwards and be like, but he promised us, he told us that he was, just like RFK Jr. promised to Bill Cassidy, the soon-to-be former senator of Louisiana, Bill Cassidy. RFK Jr. was like, oh, I will, any health policy that I make, I will go through you in your office, and I will make sure that you know. I will make sure that you absolutely know everything that's going on, and I'll get your advice on matters of, health issues of importance. Has he done that? I guarantee you he hasn't. Because everybody in that administration is a bunch of fucking liars. So, anyway. Let's see. Blanche did not tell the religious actors on the call whether he planned to block patients' access to the pills using the FDA safety regulations or the Comstock Act, a 150-year-old long-dormant anti-obscenity law that some anti-abortion activists and elected law officials have pushed as a tool. Even Clarence Thomas, I believe, in his concurrence with Dobbs v. Jackson, brought up the Comstock Act, along with all the other bullshit that he brought up in his decision that basically said the quiet parts out loud. Distinction is meaningful. FDA is considering reimposing restrictions on mifepristone, one of the 2 pills needed to terminate a pregnancy. It is not looking at doing the same for the second pill, misoprostol, which is also widely used for treating ulcers and other health issues. Should the agency decide to cut off telehealth prescription and mail delivery of mifepristone, doctors and activists have contingency plans to continue prescribing and mailing misoprostol, which can cause an abortion on its own. Invoking the Comstock Act could block patients' access to both pills through the mail throughout the U.S., though how the government would enforce the 1873 law to stop postal delivery of the medications remains unclear. In 2022, the Biden administration's department said that doctors could not be prosecuted for mailing abortion pill under the Comstock Act, arguing that since both pills are legal in every state for non-abortion purposes, such as treating miscarriages and postpartum bleeding, it was impossible to prove that they were being mailed for an illicit purpose. But, you know, the Biden administration said that they couldn't do that because the Biden administration didn't want to end abortions at all. But these people will absolutely throw the baby out with the bathwater. Literally. And then complain about the baby being, and blame the Democrats for it too, right? So, Aunt Can goes, greetings from Southern Ontario, Canada. Like, where-ish on Aunt Can? Is that like, Hamilton-ish area, or where in Ontario are you from? Let's see. Politico was not on the call Thursday when it took place. It did not agree to any limits on reporting. Audio of this session was posted on YouTube by Intercessors of America, which calls itself the largest national prayer ministry dedicated to praying for our government and leaders. Let's see. Do we have the video on that? I don't know. Let's see. They linked to it, but it didn't link. It linked to the organization and not the video. Let's see if they actually have this here as well. No, that's not the right thing. It's this one, I think, is the right. Oh, video unavailable. I guess they had posted it online, and then now that everybody has leaked it online, or not leaked it, but as everybody has posted online, they're now taking it down because they don't want people to see and say the quiet parts out loud, right? Anyway, so that's part of how I feel about Todd Blanche and his the ridiculousness of him being in charge officially now as being sworn in as the new Attorney General. Of course, wait to see what happens next, because, you know, if you fail Donald Trump, he's going to get rid of you. Bondi failed him. Jeanine Pirro, I think she's not very long for the administration. She was trying to convince the administration that his lie was, you know, not truthful, and he was not wanting to hear any of it. So there's that. Let's see. Aunt Canna goes, I'm from a small town about an hour or so northwest of Toronto, almost 60 plus kilometers north of Hamilton. Cool. Anyway, I was just trying to impress you because not many people know of Hamilton, Ontario. But I flew into it one time, going to visit a friend who lived out there. So lived in, I think she was in Hamilton or close enough to Hamilton or whatever. Anyway, that was a long time ago. Anyway, so the other day we talked about how Twitter's AI, the people who made Grok or whatever, I always dead name Twitter because it's a corporation and fuck them. So they're suing Minnesota over HF 1606, which targets the providers of like social media platforms and basically says if your platform is able to share, people are able to share, you know, nudified pictures of people regardless of their age, that they would, you know, that they could face fines and punishments up to $500,000 or so, I think, or maybe even more. I don't know. They have $500,000 per unlawful access, download, use. There you go. That's the maximum civil penalty. That effect came into effect 9 days ago, August 1st, 2026. Louisiana has Act 782, also taking effect August 1st of 2026. However, instead of targeting the corporations like Minnesota did, Louisiana targets the people and not the corporations, because obviously they're not going to, you know, go after corporations because Louisiana is very, very unlikely to go after corporations on things. I was frankly shocked the other day to hear that Liz Murrill, the Attorney General of Louisiana, that she actually was supportive of a lawsuit against Big Oil that took place from I think a Plaquemine Parish grand jury brought the indictment against that, but I think it was Chevron who said that they wanted heard in federal court, not state court. But she believed that the grand jury came up with a reasonable, ruling or whatever to bring the charges against Chevron. I believe it was Chevron, because they're a conservative parish, and as such, she trusts a conservative parish's grand jury. What? But usually, a lot of the times, you will see Louisiana and other red states just licking the boots, deep-throating the boots, if you will, over, wanting to make sure that, the corporations can get whatever they want, screw the people. And they would help them screw the people. See. So again, the main target of the law, Minnesota, nudification technology platforms, Louisiana's law, people who create, possess, disseminate, or sell certain AI images. Let's see. Does it ban AI? Does it deal with AI new generation of adult? Yes. It also deals with that for adults, primarily when disseminated, sold with specific intent. Merely creating it is regulated indirectly by prohibiting the service from enabling it. Merely creating it is not generally prohibited for adults. So if you're an adult, you can use AI to create nudified images of other people. You just can't disseminate it.
Oh my.
Using any sort of online platform. Possessing it. Possessing is not the principal target. So if you possess the images, it's not the target of the legislation. There may be other legislation that deals with possessing it. Louisiana does criminalize possessing it if the images depict people who are under 17. Now, that might sound a little weird because it specifically doesn't say 17 and under. It says under 17. There are federal laws that might exist that deal with 17-year-olds specifically, where a 17-year-old might be protected by federal law and not a state law, because in Louisiana, the age of majority is in fact 17 because of the Napoleonic Code and all the other fun stuff that comes with that. Somebody in college that I went with, college student, was a senior in college, and gross, he was dating a senior in high school, and his frequent words were, "17 is completely legal in the state of Louisiana." And we were just like, ugh, really? So, yeah. Anyway, distribution, tool cannot facilitate nudification. The person in Louisiana's law can be criminally prosecuted for distributing unauthorized AI nude images. The AI company has liability in Minnesota, does not have liability in Louisiana. There's no criminal penalty against the AI provider or for the individual in Louisiana. Civil liability, the victim can sue. AG can impose civil penalties. There's no civil liability listed, I think, in the law. It's primarily criminal penalties. There's no comparable provider penalty for in Louisiana. Safe harbor for good faith moderation. Providers are expressly carved out of the possession offense, which again, giving away things, not putting these people in trouble so they can just let it happen on their site in Louisiana, and who the fuck cares, right? There is no explicit safe harbor for companies in Minnesota. First Amendment issue for AI companies. It's much more direct, much less direct for Louisiana, much more direct for Minnesota. So basically, again, AI is suing Minnesota because XAI is suing Minnesota. Twitter argues that the law reaches beyond non-consensual sexual abuse and can force an AI company to restrict lawful or consensual image generation. AP reports that XAI specifically objects that the law covers consensual images and lacks a safe harbor for companies making good faith efforts to prevent abuse. Louisiana, again, does something different for adults. Louisiana's existing law is amended, prohibits a person from disseminating or selling an AI-generated image depicting another identifiable identifiable person who is naked when the person knows or should know that the depicted person did not authorize the dissemination or sale. Statute also requires the specified intent to coerce, intimidate, or maliciously disseminate. The penalty was increased by Act 782 to up to 1 year imprisonment and or a $1,000 fine with enhanced penalties if the depicted person is under the age of 17. So, look, like, I have no problem with either law. I mean, generally speaking, if you're sharing images of somebody without their consent, that should be a crime regardless of if it's artificially artificially disseminated or not. That definitely deserves
Oh my.
for the little misspeaking of that, right? So anyway, so yeah, not just, you know, sharing images without the consent of the person who is in the image, but sending images to somebody without their consent for receiving it should also be considered a crime. But there are too many places where that's not the case as well. Consent is to me very important here in Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left, that's right. Conservatives like to pretend that consent is okay, is something that's important, but in reality, we all know that they don't give a shit about consent. You want an example? Tell a conservative that Pepe Le Pew, the cartoon skunk, was a rapey skunk. Everybody who I know on the left, who I say that to, are either like, you're right, immediately, like, I've had that thought too, or they'll say, I never thought of it that way. Anybody on the right who I've spoken with about Pepe Le Pew being a rapey skunk has, like, pushed back immediately and says, oh no, it's not a rapey skunk, that's just ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. Literally, if you wonder why people who saw those cartoons may have an issue understanding the idea of consent when you had a skunk that was trying to kiss a cat, I think it was a cat, and trying to kiss her without her consent. She's pushing away or whatever, you know, clearly violating, you know, whatever. I mean, should call Pepe Le Pew just Trumpy Le Pew at this point. And if you look at the Secret Service agent who was sitting behind Trump at the Lindsey Graham funeral, you will absolutely see that Trumpy Le Pew may very well be an accurate description of our president, especially because, you know, somebody had mentioned something about Trump crapping his pants. We do have a song about Donald Trump being the man who crapped his pants to the man who sold the world from Nirvana. Well, initially from Bowie, but my parody was off of the Nirvana cover of it. So that's on liberaldanradio.com if you want to go check that song out as well. I'm not playing it live because I don't want to lose any of my funds that come from the advertisement revenue on this video. I don't want any of those to, you know, be shunted away because I played that video, but you can go watch it over on YouTube if you wish. Steve says, any fans of U.S. actor Kumail Nanjiani? Yeah, I believe so. Why? Is there something that I shouldn't be a fan of him for? Or are you announcing something good about him? I don't know. But I do like the actor as far. Big Hook and Pepe Le Pew didn't have the decency to use a Tic Tac beforehand. Fair enough. So yeah. See, Texas made all THC products a jailable offense. I guess the private prisons need a boost and fucking cops are jealous of the ICE guys. I didn't see that. Makes me want to go to Texas even less than I already do, right? Because I definitely need that for what is it, a Big Hook. I was trying to scroll back to see the other thing he said. Did you see that TikTok was blocking videos on what's wrong with men on community guideline violations, but will allow what's wrong with women videos? I am not surprised at all. Makes me want to go ahead and write a what's wrong with men video specifically for that. In fact, this video will probably get cut up and be like, hey, let's have a conversation of what's wrong with men. And specifically, we have a lot of young men who grew up watching Pepe Le Pew who now have questions or problems understanding consent. And maybe there's a causative relationship there. I mean, look, my parents taught me about consent. My mom was like, you know, you have to get a yes. Yes means yes, or no. She's like, no means no. So if somebody tells you no, you have to respect it. And of course, I'm teaching my kids yes means yes over no means no, because yes means, hey, you got an active, actual yes, and the yes has to be meaningful. So, for example, if the person you're with doesn't feel safe telling you a no, then the yes is not a valid yes, right? I mean, I'm sure a lot of conservatives will flip out about that as well. But if the person who you're with doesn't feel safe telling you no, then they can't give you a yes either. Then they don't consent to you. That's why you have power comes into play when it comes to whether or not there was an assault that took place, because if you have power over somebody and you can't tell if you feel like you can't tell that person can't tell you no because you have power over them, then can you really obtain consent from them in the first place, right? So you want to know what's wrong with men? Maybe Pepe Le Pew has taught the men a bad lesson, and we didn't have parents who were responsible in teaching their children about consent as they were growing up. Like, I've taught my kids, look, if you don't want to get hugged, you don't have to be hugged. I don't care who the family member is. You come tell me if they're trying to hug you and you don't feel like you're being hugged, because you have the right to have your personal space. If you don't want us hugging you because you want to be left alone, again, there is no problem with you telling us no. If I say, hey, come here, give me a hug, I don't feel like it, perfect, fine. You should do that, and that's how you should treat other people as well. It's as simple as that. Unfortunately, there are too many people who are like, go give your grandma a hug, but I don't want to. It's your grandma, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit who it is. If you don't want to get hugged, you shouldn't get hugged. So, see, out of the blue and on YouTube, but game show task member, he's on Series 21. Like, what the fuck? He's proper famous, worth watching. Fair enough. Let's see, the guy that wrote Veep is on the same series. I do like Veep. Let's see. Speaking of consent, Trump has an oil company drilling without consent. Lovely. Are they drinking somebody's milkshake, to go back to that movie, right? I don't know. So, ugh. Hey, Catherine, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Hey, Josh as well. We have 106 viewers and 59 likes on YouTube. Please make sure to smash that like button and then the patriarchy. Andy likes my Trumpy Le Pew. Maybe I should make an AI image about that as well. Hell, I did it immediately on the fly last time with Google AI. Let's see if I can do that again, shall we? There we go. Last time it gave me one error message and not another one. Let's see. Make me an image of a hybrid of Donald Trump and Pepe Le Pew, because because both violate consent and both don't smell very good from their rear ends. See what they say. Sometimes AI doesn't like to do things like that. Reviewing requests for safety. That should be interesting. These people, want us to be able to make things, but then are like, oh, we want to review it for safety. The most bizarre thing. Let's see, I'm rewriting the image to use a generic skunk instead of the copywriting character, keeping the political satire while avoiding trademark elements and defamatory claims. Thank you very much, Meta, for thinking about me so much. I encountered a fairly new organization recently, NOMAS, National Organization of Men Against Sexism. That sounds like a good organization. You should send them... This would be funny. Skunks only smell when threatened. Well, Donald Trump feels threatened all the time. He manufactures threats when none exist. So that's why he probably stank. We're still waiting on this image to be created. That's going to be absolutely fucking hysterical. Let's see. See, if you I wasn't able to generate, let's see, cartoon Scott kind of holding a... You made me a Trump with Pixar's anger without a problem. Do that. Do the same for Trump and a skunk. It doesn't have to be. Pew, but the top in writing should say, come on, type it. I can't type today. I can to never corner a skunk. The consequences will stay with you for over a week. Exactly. See if we can do it in this one too. I usually don't like to use the ChatGPT images because I like to use that for my thumbnails for my whatever. But you know, it is what it is. Of Donald Trump and a skunk. That at the top says Trumpy the Pew. Oh, there it is. See, all you gotta do is reword it. Let's see. Actually, change the style of the text to be all caps, and also make someone behind him looking like he smells something bad. There's not enough tomato juice to rinse the stink off of Trump off your carcass. Skunks have a limit. Pretty much. Here we taking a break to do live AI generation on the show. Sorry to those who hate AI, but Catherine says Joel. Anyway, again, 63 likes, 105 viewers. Please make sure to smash that like button as we're having fun over here. So make sure to support the show. The most important thing to do is to subscribe to the show, get notifications, comment on videos. There are a lot of conservatives who are commenting on stuff. Oh, this one's awesome. Here we go. Let's see. Image. New image. Browse. There we go. Hilarious. There we go. Trumpy Le Pew right there. I'll have to post that on whatchamacallit later on Blue Sky and Facebook, etc. So anyway, there's Trumpy Le Pew. See, this is why I say that I have ADHD. Simply because of the fact that I will see something, I'll be like, I need to do that now. I think of something, I'm like, I have to do that now. So that's one of the many reasons why I have self-diagnosed ADHD, because a lot of people will share memes this is an example of my ADHD, and I'll be like, I do that. I do that all the time, and that's why I will do it. That's why I will say that I have self-diagnosed ADHD, because this is one of the things that I do. You need Marco behind Le Pew. Well, it was more of I was thinking more of that Secret Service agent that was behind him at the funeral, but still. Hey, James, no problem being late. Suzanne says, oh, goody, Joel is back. Yes, Joel is back. Guess who's back? Back again. Joel is back. Tell a friend. And that's because we're finally using, we're back to being able to use OBS and streaming to multiple platforms and not just using Restream. Let's see. Doesn't look like he's got a cheesy look on his head or a dumb F look. Yeah. I mean, but you got the hair. So, I mean, I did not think that any of the AI platforms would allow me to have Trumpy Le Pew grabbing somebody by the hoo-ha or just kissing them without their consent. I think if you tried to make that image, I think any AI platform that's at least worth its salt would be like, you know what? This crosses a line. We're not going to do it. I'm sure somebody could figure out how to word it exactly, but, you know, as old Donnie Boy says...
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. So... Let's see. Kevin over on Twitch says, our farm dog cornered a skunk up against our house. The dog in the house got sprayed. It was awful. Ooh, I bet. Nine-Inch Toenails has a 7-stream streak. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you. Frank, he can kiss my ass. I wouldn't want him kissing any part of me, but hey, it is, you know, whatever. Let's see. So we already covered that one as well. So when my little old brother got sprayed by a skunk, Dad asked him, didn't you know? He said, I held my nose. Oh, God. Holding your nose doesn't do anything. Holding your nose is like, you know, not doing tests and saying that if you have tests, you have more cases, because if you don't see the test results, then the test results don't exist and people aren't really sick.
If some can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list in administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
All right, let's see. We do want to go over this real quickly. Before we cover one of my other things. Here we go. Let's do this. I've been very lax at uploading the videos that I need to upload. I have a lot of longer form videos that haven't been uploaded yet, and I think I'm falling behind on some of my short ones as well. Although I think I'm going to move platforms from Opus to something else, because I have some trust issues with Opus at this point. So, oh boy, White House pop-up. Welcome to the golden age. It's the golden shower age of the Trump administration. We love the golden showers. They're wonderful. Anyway, so, and not only is the golden age, but it's the gold standard, supposedly, because they're delivering the gold standard. Let's see. I want to see if this works again. Again, this is by the authority vested me in President by the Constitution and laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Let's see if the listen still plays the wrong sound.
By the President of the United States of America, Proclamation 1. Section 338 of the
Nope. For some reason, the click to listen doesn't work yet again, because we have an inept administration who hires inept people who don't check to make sure that things work. Like, this could be helpful to people who have problems reading, but, you know, they're going to think that all of the executive orders and everything else are, you know, the same thing, right? So, anyway, Section 1, Purpose and Policy. Pursuant to the Presidential Memorandum of December 5th, 2025, aligning United States core childhood vaccine recommendations with best practices from peer-developed countries, blah, 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 the Department of Health and Human Services completed a scientific assessment. Yeah, RFK Jr. did not do anything scientific. Fuck him. There's no way in hell that he did a scientific assessment. Which identified a set of consensus vaccines that are consistently recommended in all peer countries, and found in the United States currently recommends more childhood vaccines than any peer nation, including more than twice as many vaccine doses as some European nations. Scientific assessment. You have to say it again. Scientific assessment. No, how many times are they going to say scientific assessment? Also found that instead of implementing vaccine mandates, most peer nations maintain childhood vaccination rates through public trust and education. Well, you love the poorly educated, so clearly we can't seem to do that here. I mean, it may very well be in other countries they don't need to require people to do what's right because they maybe just simply do what's right. But in here, our free dumb with D-U-M-B with a B at the end, because we know that there's a B at the end of dumb. You might not, and your supporters might not, but we know that there's a B at the end of dumb. Let's see. United States, by contrast, individual states set mandatory vaccine requirements that children must meet to attend school, which is good, because there are people who can't, and you need to have herd immunity for those people who can't. So, Executive Order 14407 of May 29, 2026, committed federal government to ensuring Americans receiving the best scientifically supported medical advice. I don't believe that's going to happen under your administration. And protecting religious liberty and parental authority. You do not have the liberty to put other people at risk, or you should not be considered to have the liberty to put other people at risk. If you want to choose to not vaccinate your kids, keep them at home. Simple as that. Don't put them around other people if you're choosing to not vaccinate. If you can't vaccinate your children, then you need other people to vaccinate their kids to protect your kids. I'm taking further action to reaffirm that as the policy of the United States that the core childhood vaccine recommendations should be aligned with scientific evidence, and they are. They already were. Shut up. Recommendations for childhood and adolescent vaccines based on the consultation with my advisors and review of available scientific evidence. It is hereby declared the United States recognizes gold standard childhood vaccine recommendations informed by 3 distinct categories of childhood immunization recommendations identified in the scientific assessment. So 1, immunizations recommended for all children: measles, mumps, rubella, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, polio, influenza type B, pneumococcal disease, human papillomavirus, and varicella. 2, immunizations recommended for certain high-risk group populations. 3, immunizations based on shared clinical decision-making: Hep A, Hep B, rotavirus, meningococcal disease, influenza, COVID-19. Gold standard recommendation also recognized the combined measles, mumps, rubella vaccine should be administered in 3 separate single disease shots. Why? There's no reason for this. And by splitting them up, this is one of the things that there is no evidence to show that the MMR is anything but safe. Maybe, again, there are people who can't take vaccines, but it is much safer for you to take the MMR, or for your kids to take the MMR vaccine. It is much safer for them to do that than to go for natural immunity like RFK Jr. used to believe and would say. Now he wants you to take the measles vaccine, but before he thought natural immunity was superior, supposedly. It's not. But if you go for natural immunity, you risk death and all the other significant problems that can take place if you happen to catch the measles. So no, this is stupid. And most people who are in the medical field are going to say the same thing. Only the hand-picked, special, needing a helmet special type of special doctors are going to agree with this bullshit. And when you split them up, again, so what do you give the measles first? Do you give mumps first? Do you give rubella first? Which one comes second? Which one comes third? And then while you're splitting up those shots into 3 different shots, guess what? Your child is at risk for the other 2 when you give the first one. And also, there's also a matter of convenience. If you need to send them for more visits to get those vaccines, then people might be less likely to get them. Whereas if you combine them all into one, and there's no evidence showing that having one is at all problematic, that's 1 visit for the measles, mumps, and rubella instead of 3. I mean, again, Donald Trump did say he loved the poorly educated, and you're going to have a bunch of poorly educated people celebrating this executive order, which really does nothing because, it's up to the states to determine what vaccines can be taken. Thank you, Jackie, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. And hope you come back soon. Each executive department agency shall review gold standard childhood vaccine recommendations and take any appropriate steps to advance them to the fullest extent allowable by law, which is hopefully not much. States and territories are advised to review the gold standard childhood vaccine recommendations, GSCVR. They should have come up with a better acronym for that too. That's another problem I have with this administration. Their acronym generation is just terrible. And they want states to update relevant laws and regulations that define the scope of immunization requirements for contexts such as school enrollment, attendance based on scientific assessment, yada, yada, yada. The United States will routinely assess the gold standard childhood vaccine recommendations, yada, yada, yada. Secretary of HHS through the HHS task force shall within 90 days present plans to the president through the assistant to the president for domestic policy to the extent as appropriate and consistent with law to offer options to administer core childhood vaccines starting with MMR as single vaccines rather than combination. Again, there is no current shot where you can get 1 and then 1 and then 1. So you're going to have to make these companies create 3 separate shots when it's unnecessary. And for who? Who's going to jump up on? I'm sure Louisiana and Texas and Alabama and Mississippi and Florida, maybe Georgia, a lot of the other southern states, some of the Midwestern states, maybe they will follow Donald Trump's saying, hey, we're going to vaccine less because we're going to make America healthy again. Yeah, Make America healthy again by killing them off by not giving them the appropriate vaccines in a timely manner. Section 4, again, we're skipping over some. Maximizing parental choice over childhood vaccines. Yuck! The Attorney General shall take appropriate measures to further meritorious legal actions challenging state laws that conflict with states' constitutional and federal statutory obligations related to parental authority, religious freedom, disability accommodations, and equal protection under the law, including to the extent applicable under federal law, states' obligation to provide religious and medical exemptions from childhood and adolescent immunization requirements. Okay, so if you have a medical exemption, you should have a medical exemption. Absolutely agree with that. Religious exemptions, I'm not so much okay about, because religion is a choice. You want to choose to believe, like, I don't believe, what religions out there, except for maybe the Mennonites, will say that you can't have a vaccine? Which ones? I mean, because I don't see it anywhere in the Torah, thou shalt not get vaccinated. I don't see it anywhere in the Christian Bible that thou shalt not get vaccinated. There isn't the sermon on vaccines on the Mount. Now, Jewish law does say the most important thing is to save somebody's life. Saving your own life, saving other people's lives, very important to do. So, if you're religious, you should be supportive of protecting your fellow man and woman and child and other folks who may have different gender identifications or whatever, because you should do the right thing and protect them by getting yourself vaccinated, by getting your children vaccinated, as long as y'all can do it. And if you have a religion that says that you can't vaccinate, fine. But don't bring your kids to Disney World, don't bring your kids in public, don't do all that crap. Because you're putting other people at risk. By lowering the overall percentage of people who are vaccinated, as such, you're harming herd immunity. That could very well be one of the things that, if I had younger kids, would cause me to move out the state. If I lived in a state that said, if we lived in a state that said you can be free to not vaccinate your kids at all, then I would be like, I'm going to pick up and move at that point, because, whatever. I'm not going to farm had Biden done today. Pray for Joe, everyone. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do want to, I did see about Joe Biden's, cancer and it moving to the bones or whatever, and it's terrible. But I didn't even record that. I thought I was going to be recording this. I completely forgot to record it. Oh, well. Anyway. So, but yeah, I'll absolutely do that well, here's the thing, atrocious at every game. I'm actually planning on playing Had Biden Done It a lot in my next segment, because I have a bit specifically tailored for that. However, if Donald Trump apparently said something real shitty about Biden on the day that Biden announced that he has, the cancer spread or whatever, and can you imagine if the roles were reversed and Biden insulted a Republican who was suffering with a cancer diagnosis and treatment? I mean,
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
I think he said more than just, I don't care, but I'm not surprised, because Donald Trump doesn't give a crap about anything. Of course, Section 5 of this, general provisions, nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by law to executive department, agency, or head thereof, functions of the Director of Office of Management and Budget relating to the budgetary, administrative, legislative proposals. The order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law, subject to availability of appropriations. Order is not intended to does not create any right, benefit, substantive, procedural, enforceable at law, or inequity, blah, 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 blah. The cost for publication of this order shall be borne by the Department of Health and Human Services. Signed Donald John Trump, blah, blah, blah. So, anyway. So, yeah, that's that. But, yeah, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous that we have to have our pyrite standard of vaccinations from this administration that are pushed, that's going to kill people. Again, Donald Trump had hundreds of thousands needlessly dead during the pandemic because he refused to handle the pandemic properly, and he downplayed the threat. And, you know, he to Woodward, he admitted that he downplayed the threat. He didn't want to test properly. He didn't implement a way to get the vaccines out with Project Warp Speed. So he was responsible for hundreds of thousands, if not more, of deaths during COVID, and now he's going to be responsible for even more deaths when more people start dying from preventable diseases that are preventable via safe vaccines. We're going to be talking about vaccines in a second, because there's one, if not more, important questions where you should ask conservatives wherever you see them on particular issues, to reveal themselves, to reveal their hypocrisy, to reveal them, to see if they are being consistent with what they hold, with what they believe, and what they state. And the one that started it, the one that started me wanting to have this idea on this show, was vaccines. Because, I mean, we already know that they all buy the bullshit that the amount of mercury, be it it's a different type of mercury than you find in fish, but they think mercury is mercury is mercury. So they think that. But, you know, the amount of, you know, you get much more eating all-you-can-eat sushi one day than you would getting a vaccine. I actually had all-you-can-eat sushi on Friday. So it was much less sushi than I could normally eat because I'm back on the Zepbound. But still, these people will tell you, though, they will tell you that they don't believe that their new line, at least, I think I've seen this more frequently this week than I had in the last year or two or whatever, is that you should not be injecting anything with mRNA because, you know, it's rewriting your genes or whatever, that conspiracy theory about that. So they were like, we didn't want to take an mRNA vaccine. Really? I don't know why that's calling me. I think that might be Walgreens. I don't know. Maybe they'll leave a message. Anyway, so, but here's my question to anybody who's a conservative who didn't want to take an mRNA vaccine. Did you then go take Novavax? It's a simple question. If you see somebody who is saying, I would not take the vaccine because I didn't want to take an mRNA vaccine, then say, why didn't you go take Novavax? Because Novavax is a protein-based vaccine rather than the mRNA. Ask them that question, because if they wouldn't take the Novavax vaccine, which is where I started, and not because Novavax was not mRNA, but because I entered the trial for Novavax so that I could help out, so that I would be helping the cause, because I felt, you know, even though I was a bigger guy, relatively healthy other than the fact that I'm obese, and I figured if I can, you know, help the science and help vaccines come out more quickly and help them fight this pandemic, I am happy to do so. So I did. Simple as that. Now, my boosters have been, you know, non-Novavax. They've been Pfizer or Moderna or whatever, one of the two. I forget which one I got last or whatever. But I started off with Novavax. Again, not because of some conspiracy theory or whatever, but again, why did they not start off with that? And if they didn't, and if they refused to take the Novavax vaccine for another reason, then the mRNA isn't the issue. Because they had an option, they refused to take it. Wait. Lock Dragon, has anyone else noticed that shark attacks and bison attacks are on the rise? What do they know? I don't know. I haven't heard of bison attacks being on the rise, but maybe they're in cahoots. Maybe there's a middleman, like some woodchuck or beaver out there is out there telling them, hey, coordinating the attacks between the sea and the land. One if by land and two if by sea. Anyway, see, Doc, Aben Irx. What's up, Doc? Mine is a Sino farm in Morocco. Interesting. Jeff, I don't rewrite my genes. I cut them off really short like Daisy Dukes.
Oh my.
I didn't see a picture of that when you sent me when you sent me some pictures hanging out a few weeks back, or is it months ago now? I don't know. So, is it in my brain or in my kidney? The kidney has a special place in the heart. Yes, thank you, Bob. Good to see you, Bob. See. Now, other questions, though, that you can ask Trump supporters or whatever. If your decision to COVID vaccine mandates was that the government shouldn't tell you medical, blah, 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 well, that's, some of the ones I threw in, like, to ChatGPT or whatever, and this one isn't applicable because, yes, obviously they would oppose mandatory childhood vaccinations because they support this bullshit from Donald Trump. But if you don't trust pharmaceutical companies because they're profit-driven, and I've heard conservatives make the profit-driven argument because the conservatives are more worried about profit as it pertains to shoving needles in your arms. They don't give a shit about corporations profiting over, harming the environment and killing you by poisoning your air and your water, but they care about the profits that pharmaceutical companies get by creating vaccines. But then why do they then magically trust the pharmaceutical companies with ivermectin? Or the other ones. I mean, we all know they don't like remdesivir now, but Donald Trump was pushing remdesivir a bunch because he had it when he had COVID. And then if you believe that natural immunity is preferable to vaccine immunity from, COVID, why wouldn't the same principle apply to every infectious disease for which we have an effective vaccine? They probably wouldn't be able to answer that one. Let's see. Let me scroll on down there. So there are other things that, you could ask conservatives as well. Wait, there have been 3 bison. Oh, there was that one bison. I do remember the one bison attacked the grandpa, right? There have been 2 other ones. That's crazy that there have been more bison attacks. Maybe they're just realizing that we're that stupid because we have Donald Trump as president again. I don't know. Maybe they're smarter than we give him credit for. So here's some other hard questions that you could potentially ask MAGA conservative folks to kind of really drill down. They oppose supposed DEI about hiring people based on whatever they think DEI is about. They will tell you that they want meritocracies. They will tell you that people should be hired because they have the skills and ability to do so. Of course, DEI doesn't ignore skill whatsoever. DEI says you should make sure to have diversity, you should make sure to have equity and inclusion because you shouldn't exclude people because of their disabilities, because of any other issues that they might have, you should because of the race, etc. But here's an interesting question. Do you support programs that try and get veterans hired simply because they're veterans? I mean, I don't personally. I think it's fine to make sure that veterans who serve our country risk their lives for the country to be able to get themselves a job and be able to both not have it used against them. And I would consider, if you have veterans, that could potentially be another example of diversity, of having a diverse workforce that you can have. But if they think that it's okay to list that the person is a veteran and maybe have that somehow tip the scale a little bit, how is that not contradictory with how they feel about DEI as well, right? These conservatives will say that they oppose socialism. Anything is horrible. Socialism is horrible. Socialism is terrible. I've come at this was like, well, should we have a military? Should we have police and fire departments? That's socialism. That's using the combined effort of everybody's tax dollars to pay the military, to pay the fire department, pay the police, pay EMS, to make sure that we have that coverage regardless of, where it is. Also, the other question was, would they support getting rid of Medicare? Because Medicare is also socialism. I love during the Affordable Care Act when all the conservatives and Tea Party folks were all like, keep government's hand off my Medicare. I mean, this is the people that probably also voted for Trump and the poorly educated who voted for Trump as well. These people will say they oppose government-run health care. Do you want to eliminate the VA? The Veterans Administration is government-run healthcare. Should we get rid of the VA, or are you going to make an exception for that? You say you don't want government interfering in businesses. Well, then do you support the Trump purchase of the 10% share or whatever in Intel? Spending like $9.9 billion to have a 10% stake. I mean, how is that not in violation of all that you would say? Can you imagine if Biden had put, used your tax dollars to buy a 10% stake in like a solar company?
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
See, you're against illegal immigration because people broke the law. Should we deny employment to American companies that knowingly hire them? And I've been making that point for a while as well. Like, and it's a supply side economics argument. So you should absolutely, if you're conservative, embrace the idea that because these people supply the jobs, that's why they come across to get the jobs, right? If they want to work, and these jobs aren't jobs that Americans will take, which is there is a funny thing, or funny ironic, or funny shows you how stupid these people are. We'll talk about that in a second. But these people are hiring undocumented folks, and they're paying them, unethical wages. Like, my point is that we should go after any company that's paying legal wages. If it's an illegal wage, you should go after the company, regardless of whether or not the person they hired is undocumented or whatever. But again, they should want to go after, and some of the conservatives, to their credit, will say, yes, you should go after companies. Now, these are the people, not the politicians. The conservative politicians will not go after the companies that hire folks who are undocumented, because the people, especially if they're larger, because those larger companies will want to, make those campaign contributions. Hell, Donald Trump, I'm sure, hires plenty of persons who are undocumented at his resorts, whatever, doing all of the jobs that those people don't want. Can you imagine if President Biden had private property that he rented out to people and he hired undocumented folks and wouldn't crack down on it? Can you imagine what would have happened?
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Bob LeBlanc, the Pepe Le Pew test. Yeah, exactly. Ali Osher. Some conservatives argue for smaller government, lower taxes, fewer public programs, cuts to welfare, food aid, disability benefits, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But many politicians and public officials still receive benefits through government systems. For example, members of Congress are covered by the federal retirement arrangements, and congressional pensions are financed through employee and employer contributions. Members can become eligible for a pension at age 62 with at least 5 years of service. Yep. Again, hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. So you say you're against censorship. They don't want censorship. Should a private company be legally required to publish speech it doesn't want to publish? So can I go on Rumble and can I force Rumble to say, hey, you should carry my stuff because my stuff is important and should be heard? Again, they're also for free markets. Conservatives, again, so free markets, again, brings up the whole idea, should government be allowed to own stock in private companies? They are typically, Donald Trump ran as the so-called law and order president, right? He ran for law and order, but then he pardoned 1,500 people, many of whom attacked cops. Well, you're for the cops. Do you believe that a cop should be attacked? You would say no if you're a conservative, right? But if you're a conservative and say no, then how do you justify the pardoning of the people who attacked cops on January 6th? They are against government subsidies and government dependency. But the biggest so-called welfare queens, as Reagan put it, are the corporations that get government handouts and subsidies. So should they go away? And look, again, to some people who are conservatives' credit, they will absolutely say yes. But at the end of the day, you can ask all of these questions to find out if they really are principled or if it's just to justify their side and support their side. But if it's the other side, they'll come out against it. And I think I've proven, beyond I think any doubt, that I tend to be principled on most, if not all, things. I think I've proven that I will absolutely criticize people on the right and on the left for the same damn thing. Let's see, other notes that I created about this. Of course, some of this stuff is, you know, again, I plugged some of this stuff into, you know, just to basically like coming up with an example or an explanation or whatever. So sometimes I'll use ChatGPT as a starting off point or whatever, and then go from there. And some of the things that ChatGPT came up with was just like silly because it's absolutely they would support it. So I have to go kind of filter it down from there. But I guarantee you, if Donald Trump leaves office and pardons Jared Kushner, pardons his kids, pardons members of his staff, these people would probably say nothing. But they complained when Biden pardoned Fauci and other people, including his, you know, Hunter Biden. Because
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
let's see. Trust game, this reminds me, you have to see this. So someone on Blue Sky shared a quiz of 20 people's demographics and some of their positions. You then choose whether they voted for Trump or Harris. People who are actually informed tend to score horribly. Hilarious. Let me see if I could search that. That would be interesting. Blue Sky. Do you remember the username of the person? Because if you just type the username, then, but I mean, maybe you could also whisper it to Jolie as well. But Blue Sky demographics positions quiz. Is a quiz maybe? I don't know. Nope. Not seeing it there. Come on. Can I type properly today? Apparently I can't type people. So I'll find a link. I deactivated my account today because I was tired of blocking people for rooting for Biden's cancer. Holy shit. I mean, are there that many people who are on Blue Sky who are that shitty? Hold on. Why am I not able to pull that? Oh, that's why. I can't pull it up because I'm on the wrong browser logged in wise. Let's try it this way. Blue Sky this way. On this browser. Sign in. And then we do this. Helps if I actually type it in right. See, James, I have Native American heritage on both sides of my family, along with other options. I'm sure we all do. So I can't say I'm on YouTube. F-ups and repeats comments without being asked to. I don't know if I've seen that. Ontario, Canada says, so glad my healthcare isn't tied to my employment. Healthcare in Ontario definitely has some issues. In parts of the province, the Ontario drug benefits plan kicked when I turned 65. See that thing? Oh, I found it. Whisper to Jolie now. Oh, appreciate it. We will get there eventually. Because we'll probably do it live or whatever. But again, if anybody wants to follow me on Blue Sky and share some of my posts, I don't do as much as I maybe should, but it's Liberal Dan Radio on Blue Sky. It's Liberal Dan Radio pretty much everywhere. In fact, on Facebook, there's both Facebook.com/LiberalDan and Facebook.com/LiberalDanRadio. And I've been posting to both my shorts, at least my reels or whatever, because posting my shorts. Not losing my shorts, but I'm posting them, right?
Oh my.
But yeah, so... But apparently the ones on Facebook.com/LiberalDan are getting a lot more views. So one of the things I need to try and do is I'm looking into automating something that where I basically can have a platform that says, okay, here's a video, post it to Facebook, and then follow it directly there afterwards with a post that says, if you want more Liberal Dan Radio, go to liberaldanradio.com and subscribe to get the long form versions. And maybe that will be a way to drive traffic over to YouTube and try and get more subscriptions. Will I be successful and correct? I don't know. But, you know, we will see. AmericanSurveyCenter.org quiz. Here we go. So, it's very bright. Let's see. I don't know. Can I get the dark mode? Settings. Dark. Yeah. Come on. Type properly. Let's see. Dark. There we go. Let's refresh. No, still not doing it. So let's do it this way. Nope, still not dark. Okay. Let's turn this on. Turn it on. Oh my. Wait, turn it on.
Oh my.
All right, how did Americans vote in 2024? Andrew is a white male, 38. Now, is this an accurate picture of Andrew? Show personal views. Favors making the use of marijuana legal. Thinks abortion should be legal in most cases. Thinks too many people are easily offended these days over the language that others use. Did not vote. Oh, I was going to say Trump too. God damn it. I was going to say Trump too. All right, Anna. Kasparian favors making it more difficult to access porno on the internet, tougher laws and regulations to protect the environment even if it raises prices. Thinks too many people are easily offended these days over the language others use. I'm going Trump. Yep. I voted for him because I didn't think Kamala would have been included in the race. She wasn't in it from the beginning. She was thrown in the last minute, blah, blah, blah. Ugh. Monica, black female, age 43. Opposes tougher laws and regulations to protect the environment, even if it raises prices or costs her jobs. Thinks abortion should be legal in most cases. Thinks the government today can't afford to do much to help the needy. I'm going to say she voted for Harris. There we go. Jessica, white female, 32. Opposes deporting all immigrants who are living in the U.S. legally back to their home country. Thinks abortion should be legal in all cases. Thinks the government should do more to help needy Americans, even if it means going deeper into debt. I don't think this one voted for Trump. But this sounds like somebody who might be too far to the left. I mean, I say too far to the left. I'm probably as far to the left as she is, maybe more, but I'm also more pragmatic. So let's say did not vote. Nope, voted for Harris. I was wrong on that one. I'm 2 out of 4. John, white male, 30. Well, we already know where we're potentially going here. Opposes making it more difficult to access porno on the internet. Favors allowing gay and lesbian couples to marry legally. Favors deporting all immigrants who are living in the U.S. illegally back to their home countries. Thinks abortion should be illegal in most cases. I mean, gotta be Trump, right? Yep. Antonio, Hispanic male, 45. Although country of origin or country of ancestry might be a little more helpful here, depending on where the individual came from. Antonio opposes the government offering parents vouchers to send their children to private or religious schools or to a public school of their choice. I oppose that too. Opposes deporting all immigrants who are living in the U.S. legally back to their home country. Thinks the government should do more to help needy Americans, even if it means going deeper into debt. I gotta say Harris. Wow! How? I voted for Trump because of support for Israel and the Second Amendment. Oh my God, I would love to have a conversation with Antonio. Because Donald Trump, again, said take the guns first when it came to red flag laws and then go to the courts later to have it figure it out. And Donald Trump only supports Israel because he supports Israel bombing the hell out of Gazans. and because, evangelical right-wing Christians are part of his base, and in order for their prophecy to become true, more of us have to be over there so we can die first. With friends like that, who the hell needs an enemy? That one was, whoo. Again, Donald Trump did say he loved the poorly educated. This quiz is telling us why. Sophia, Hispanic female, 27, opposes allowing gay and lesbian couples to marry legally, opposes deporting all immigrants who are living in U.S. illegally back to their home country, thinks people need to be more careful about the language they use to avoid offending people with different backgrounds. Wow. I mean, these feel diametrically opposed. Like, how do you oppose gay marriage and oppose deportation, but then, think people need to be more careful about the language that they use? She probably voted for Trump. Oh, she didn't vote. Nice. I didn't believe that either candidate was right for the job. Didn't feel right putting him in. So you just, sat home and did nothing. Daniel, fellow of my name. Favors making it more difficult to access pornography on the internet. Sounds conservative. Favors deporting all immigrants who are living in the U.S. illegally back to their home country. Thinks abortion should be legal in most cases. I gotta be Trump. There you go. Right about that one. So I'm 4-4. Sarah. Asian American Pacific Islander female. Favors making it more difficult to access porno on the internet, favors tougher laws and regulations to protect the environment, and thinks abortion should be legal in all cases. Harris. Jesus. Sam. There's a joke about I had my Sam-iversary because we went to a cidery one place and I asked for my bill or whatever, and they're like, they couldn't find one for Dan, but they found one for Sam because they put me in under Sam. So the joke consistently was that my name is Sam and not Dan. So Sam is a white male, age 34. Favors allowing gay and lesbian couples to marry legally. Thinks abortion should be legal in most cases. Thinks too many people are easily offended these days of the language. See, everyone that answers 3 that way, or that question that way, makes me think that regardless of 1 and 2, that they voted for Trump. We're going to say Trump, that he voted for Trump. Nope, wow, he voted for Harris. Didn't like either candidate, but Trump is a huge concern for me. Believe so far during his second term, the worries I have been about him have been correct. All right. It's fine. I think that's the first surprising one for Harris. Michael, a black male, 24 years old. Opposes allowing gay lesbian couples to marry legally. Opposes tougher laws to protect the environment. Thinks too many people. This one has to be Trump. Wow. I'm black, and it doesn't matter anyway. They do what they want when it comes to my race in America. We have more voice. So you understand, as a black person, that, you're marginalized and oppressed in this country, but you don't want to allow LGBTQA couples to marry. You oppose environmental. I don't understand people. Ontario, Canada says, I'm pro-choice, and I also think it's none of my business who decides to make that difficult decision. Preach. Absolutely. James, Asian American Pacific Islander male, favors allowing gay marriage, opposes government vouchers to send kids to private little schools or to a public school of their choice, thinks abortion should be illegal in most cases. That's a toughie. Because he supports LGBTQA rights, supports equal marriage, opposes that, but is against abortion. Trump. There you go. He's not my favorite person. I don't believe he's even a great choice for candidate, but he's significantly better than Kamala Harris. I could never vote for someone who believes in killing unborn babies. That's often the case with where abortion is the only deciding factor for many of these people. So you have to get the rest correct to get the same score as I did. No pressure, says Jolie. Wow. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not even at 50% again. Samantha, black female. favors the government offering para vouchers, thinks abortion should be legal in most cases, thinks too many people are easily offended. Harris. There we go. Got that one right. Joe, not the plumber, Hispanic male. Opposes allowing gay and lesbian couples to marry legally. Favors making use of marijuana legal. Opposes deporting all immigrants who are living in the U.S. illegally back to their home country. The did not vote is the one that I think is makes me question, but I mean, I think I only was wrong about that one right twice of all of the ones that I was wrong for. So most of them I was wrong for the candidate. Let's see. Opposes allowing gay and lesbian couples to marry, but wants the other two. I'm going to say did not vote. Oh, he voted for Trump. God damn it. He's not a politician, but a good businessman. You mean a good con man. So I guess that Jolie beat me. JD Christie, a Hispanic named Joe. I guess that's a good point, that if he went by Joe and not Jose, right? Isabella, Hispanic female, age 33, personal views, doesn't like gay marriage, favors deporting immigrants who are here illegally back to their home country, think abortion should be legal in most cases. Is this Trump? Yep, there we go. Sadie, white female, age 25. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need this one correct to get 50%. So, favors allowing gay and lesbian couples to marry legally, favors tougher laws and regulations to protect the environment, thinks abortion should be legal in most cases. If this isn't Harris, I'm going to scream. If this isn't Harris, I'm going to scream. Ah! This is why we're in such a shit position. She like, her 3 personal views were all leftist views. And she voted for fucking Trump. Nick Rich, the emojis are running wild. What you gonna do, brother, when liberal Danimania and the emojis run wild on you? How the fuck these people come to the conclusions? Again, let's see which one of these, how many of these make absolutely no fucking sense versus how many of these I understood or whatever do make sense. Andrew, the first one, actually, we can scroll back over this one and put it back again. Andrew, I put did not vote, but he voted for Trump. I could see it because of number 3, so it's not that crazy. Anna, I got that one right. Monica, I got that one right. Jessica, the white female, did not vote, or no. Oh, I put did not vote and she put Harris. So that was another one. But I mean, let's see. Opposes whatever, thinks government should do more. I guess that one is one that I voted kind of silly on, I guess. I was thinking she was so far to the left that she rejected Harris or whatever for some reason because of Israel or something. I got John right. Antonio, I got absolute. This one was absurd. That's one absolutely absurd one. Did not vote is absurd. Daniel, I got that one right. Sarah, doesn't understand it. It's absurd. That's 3. Sam, let's see. I guess it makes sense that he went with the top 2, and not the easily offended one. Michael, absolute weird, but I get it. So I'm just going to stick at 3 of that one. I got James right. Got this one right. Got Joe wrong. but wasn't that crazy. And the Sadie one, so like 4 or 5 of them are absolutely absurd. The names of these participants have changed, so it wasn't even somebody. So you see results. I guess we should see the results and see what happened. Correctly guessed, 7 out of 16. Wait, is there another one? Did they give random things? Begin the quiz. Or is it? No, it's the same people. So why would I want to play again if it's all the same people? They should have, like, 1,000 people and let me pick and then give me random ones, and that would make sense. So, but yeah, this is nuts. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing with us, Approaches at Every Game. I mean, because even though some of these people make absolutely no goddamn sense whatsoever, still, it's good to see. It was a fun thing to play with, even though the results are just mind-numbingly stupid. Christine, good to see you, Christine. Says, I have never understood people. Sometimes I'll just say I hate people. Did I delete that one? Let me see. Did I lower that one? I think I wanted to... More stuff I wanted to talk about with the hypocrisy stuff. Yeah. Could you imagine if Joe Biden had made a Joe coin that would be a cryptocurrency named after him with like his picture on it, and then made $1 billion or more on the crypto coin while he was president? Can you imagine the outrage that would have taken place if Biden would have done it?
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play, but Trump did it, so it must be okay.
And look, I've long actually looked at Tara Dublin's Twitter account, and she had something where she got a message back from President Biden about like something or whatever that was, I guess, from him directly. And then there's a form where you could reach out and contact them. So I actually did send a note to him, basically, saying how, talking about how my grandparents worked for his campaign, one of his initial campaigns or his initial campaigns, because they were living in Wilmington, Delaware. That's where I was born, around Wilmington, Delaware as well. They always gushed about him. They were not alive to be able to see him become president. They did see him become vice president. They always gushed about how much of a good person he is. But they always gushed about him. They always said wonderful things about him, always supported him. Look, did I disagree with him 100%? Obviously not. I don't even disagree with myself 100% from 2004 me. 2004 me was probably a little more conservative than right now, than 2026 me. 22 years can change a person. Again, if you're not a liberal when you are young, you have no heart, and then if you don't keep moving to the further and further to the left as you get older, you have no brain. So Trump is absolutely making the dollar with his face on it worthless to push up the price of the rubles he has. Yes, must increase price of ruble. Oh, you got one back too? That's awesome. Atrocious at Every Game. That is awesome to hear. But anyway, so I did basically say that I would love to have had an interview with him to be able to discuss my grandparents, and I'm sure he remembers them because he remembered them, back in a few years back or whatever, said something. They also, when my grandmother passed away, I think when both passed away, he wrote a letter to both of them about them. We actually have Jill Biden's cake recipe. Like, she has a cake recipe, and we've made Jill Biden's cake before. So, let's see. Again, you could ask conservatives, should a government employee or should the president be able to own a hotel and then accept foreign dignitaries in there and have them stay there? Do you think, again, what do you think would have happened if Biden owned a hotel and then he had foreign dignitaries and other people who, would be interested in wooing him, staying at his hotel and paying those costs, right? And then what about, like, I haven't been able to find this completely, like, find this path yet. But it is kind of related to the purchasing of the Intel stock and maybe other stocks as well. When Trump had the United States government buy a 10% stake in Intel, did Donald Trump own any stocks in Intel? And then did he sell those stocks in Intel that he owned after the United States government purchased up a 10% stake? Because how much did his stocks go up with his manipulation of the stocks? If that's the case, how much money did he make in overall wealth because he pumped up the value of the price by buying a 10% stake in a company? Right? I think it's a reasonable question to ask. I don't know if there's an answer to it yet. I couldn't find anything in the brief amount of time that I spent looking for it. If you know the answer, I'd love to hear it. You can email me, liberaldanradio@gmail.com, liberaldanradio@gmail.com. Let's just see one thing. I do have, I guess, some updates on this. Let me go ahead and pull this over and click this link because I can check the status of the of my freedom of information request that I've made here pertaining to the 1776 contest, the presidential award or whatever. Let's see, hold on. Oh, we actually have one? Huh. Responsive documents have been delivered. If delivery was made via a private reading, whatever, please sign in, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Agency's response to your request is sent. Request is closed. Huh. I don't see it. Let's see. Let's search my email for ed.gov. I don't see it. Let's sign in. How about that? Let's see if we sign in and if it's there. We also need to check these other two while we're at it. So that's one of them. So that's the one ending in F has been closed. Ah, no, stop it. Oh, that one. So they all end in F. 10. That was delivered. And let's see where they are, because I don't know. 9, was that delivered? Supposedly, I have all of this stuff delivered. Interesting. Oh, I have a one-time code that I have to type in. So let's see. My son says, raid me when you're done. If he's still alive. If he's still on, will raid me. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Sign in successful. Check request status. This one says assigned for processing. See, this is already there. And it should have... I'm not seeing it in my email. It's saying it was sent, but I'm not seeing it in my email. Surrender Monkey says FOIA requests are not free. They are if they're electronically delivered and your media. I did say that I would be willing to pay 20 or 30 bucks for it, But under the guidelines for the Freedom of Information request, as long as it's electronic, you can get it for free. So, but let's see. I don't. And these two are assigned for processing, and they have invoice amounts of 0. Doop-a-doop-a-doo, boop-a-doop-a-doo. It's all hard-coded. I don't see it. FOIA. That's just acknowledgement letters. No, that's in process. No. Was it sent to spam? It's possible it could have went to spam. All the Opus Clip stuff went to spam, but that didn't go to spam. Interesting. Updates? I am not seeing anything from them, but supposedly it was updated. Weird. We'll have to do some more looking into it, because I should have gotten it if that's the case. But let's see. Wait, hold on. Click to view messages received. There's no thing to click. See, due to the technical issue with their public access link, requests submitted between Friday, February 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m. through Tuesday, February 28th, 2025 at 4:30 may not have been successfully received. That's over a year ago. Interesting. Oh, so this says it's been completed, but the other one says it's in progress. So which one is it? Because I can't figure it out. We'll worry about that later. Maybe we'll have to email them tomorrow to figure out what the hell's going on with it. But there's a little bit of miscommunication between the two sites, because this site says responsive documents have been delivered. Oh, that's just the status. Okay. That's what I'm confused about. It just says what the status is. So one's in process and two are assigned for processing. So we still haven't gotten them yet. All right. I was just a little bit confused because they were giving an answer, a key as to what each one of them means, and I thought the bottom of it was that's what it last done, but it was just a key as to what the status means. So they're not done yet. Okay. Good enough. Had a little blonde moment there. Almost felt like our president's favorite propagandist. As I spill water. Thomas, Henry wants you to rate a stream when you're done. Okay. Okay, Taz. Anyway. Oh, he redeemed highlight my message for 100. Awesome. That's hilarious. I'm going to redeem this for free because I can. Gigantify. Anyway. Interesting. Anyway, so let's go back to this. So, again, what would you have said to Joe Biden had fired inspector generals shortly after those inspector generals issued a critical report about the administration's actions? What would you have done then? What would you say if Joe, or even ask them, like, do it like was it Jimmy Kimmel, how Jimmy Kimmel did it, and be like, oh, did you know that Joe Biden used an unofficial government agency to give people access, and who were able to access your social security numbers from the social security database? Do you think that that's wrong that Joe Biden did that? And they'd say, oh, it's terrible. I can't believe that he would be allowed to do that. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. The Donald Trump administration gave an outside government agency access to your private social security information, including your social security numbers. What do you think should happen to Donald Trump? Ask him that. And then they'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to make up some excuse because... Tag Biden! Ontario, Canada. Wait until Dems run the show to expose the entire administration and families for all the corruption and outright theft. I would like to think that that would happen. But first of all, this country has to do it. So the fact that we elected Donald Trump again after the first term and the horribleness that happened in the first term makes me question whether or not the American people are smart enough to actually give the reins of power, at least partially, back to the Democrats in 2026. I mean, I know that Tallarico in some polls is over Paxton, which is great to see. Miller whose the seat was won. Donald Trump won Miller's seat by 10 points in 2024. Miller's trailing right now, or at least tied with his Democratic opponent, the one who has been accused by his ex-wife and father-in-law of abuse of their child and his ex-wife. And a lot of Republican candidates or MAGA-endorsed candidates are polling lower or performing worse than Trump did, or performing not as well as Trump did in the areas where Trump won. So exactly, they lost their minds over Hunter Biden and the money he made, the two idiot brothers that made that look like lunch money. Absolutely. But hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. Again, I did some searching up to ask things like, what would be hypocritical? Like, what would they do with Biden? If this one, it was suggested to me to say, if Biden issued an executive order saying children born in America were not automatically citizens, conservatives would probably be like, oh, we got that one right, because they don't like birthright citizenship. They think we should eliminate birthright citizenship. So they would actually, in a rare moment of clarity, they'd probably be consistent on that one, I would say. But if Biden invoked a 1798 wartime law to deport people without giving them normal opportunity to challenge their deeper, or just invoked an obscure law to send people to go into for federal law enforcement into states and, overriding the authority of the states to handle crimes in their own areas, they absolutely would be against that, right? And Nick Rich, if Surrender Monkey sees this on screen, unblock me! Unblock me, damn you! Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. If Joe Biden had ordered the federal government to stop doing business with a law firm because that firm had represented Donald Trump or Republican causes, would they call that out of Joe Biden? They would probably say yes. So why is it not political retribution when Donald Trump does it? Another example. If President Biden threatened to withhold billions of dollars of federal funding from a university because the university wouldn't adopt Biden's preferred political policies, would that be government coercion? Probably say yes. Then why is it okay if Trump does it? Well, we all know why.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, that screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Josh C says, Christine, I've been told I sound like Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs, would you? I have a funny story about that, but that story should probably wait till Liberal Dan After Dark on Wednesday. So remember to ask me about Silence of the Lambs on Wednesday if I forget on the Liberal Dan After Dark show, because that's a funny story. But it's an After Dark story. Maybe you're concerned that I have a Silence of the Lambs story that only should be told on After Dark, but, there's a reason why I'm not talking about it here. Let's see. If Biden fired career government employees because they believed they weren't sufficiently loyal to Biden personally, would you consider that dangerous? Hell, Biden didn't fire the person who was going after his own son. He didn't get rid of that of the federal attorney going after Hunter Biden. He let that go through because he thought it was a bad form to fire somebody specifically because they were going after his son, even if he disagreed with him going after his son. So, should federal employees be loyal to the president or to the United States and the law? Should be the question. Of course, if it's Trump, they would say the president, and if it's Biden, they would say the Constitution and the law.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would
if Biden had threatened to withhold funding for Republican states until they turned over the data for every voter in that state. And that is a great example, MJ Daniel. That is absolutely a great example for this idea. You get it. You absolutely nailed it with that one. Perfect. Let's see. If Biden lost a case at the Supreme Court and publicly said he disagreed with the court but was simply going to ignore the ruling, would you support that? Then, what if Biden said the Supreme Court was politically corrupt, and then would the rule of law still require him to obey the Supreme Court ruling? Right? If Biden imposed massive tariffs on American consumers without Congress specifically voting for each tariff, would you call it an unconstitutional expansion of presidential power? Would you do that if Biden had done it? Then why won't you do it with Trump doing it? Biden declared a national emergency to obtain a policy objective that Congress has refused to authorize. Would you consider that an abuse of emergency powers? So if Biden personally ordered the CDC to change childhood recommendations, I would word this differently than what it was worded to me. I would say if Biden said that the vaccine requirements need to be increased for people, where it's required now to take additional ones, like the HPV vaccine, for example, for 13-year-olds or whatever. Like if Biden was saying that kids need to take these additional vaccines without consulting anybody who is a health expert, RFK Jr. is not a health expert, what would you do? They'd probably freak out and say that he should have to go through the proper channels. Why shouldn't Trump have to go through the proper channels? Biden promised to release explosive evidence about a politically connected sex offender, then became president. His administration suddenly became much more cautious about what could be released. What would you suspect that Biden was protecting? Or who would you suspect Biden was protecting other than that? If Biden created a business where his supporters could send him money and receive a product that had little intrinsic value and or wouldn't even get delivered, like, you know, your Trump phones, Trump watches, all the other stuff. And then political supporters and foreign interests started purchasing these items from him. Would that be a political fundraising scheme disguised as a business? Would you criticize Joe Biden for that? Or would you say Biden was perfectly okay in doing that because Trump did it too? Another question. Imagine everything Donald Trump has done since returning to office was instead done by Joe Biden. What was the first thing you'd want to have Biden impeached for? And then what would Trump have to do before you would say, I can't support him anymore? And I'm sure they would say there's nothing he can do to make me not support him because I'm always going to say that I support Donald Trump, or they will always say that they support Donald Trump. So, again, if Biden's DOJ moved Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security federal prison to be like a club fed, would you say that was okay by Joe Biden, or would you say that was wrong by Joe Biden and his administration? So if the Biden DOJ asked a judge to release Epstein grand jury records and the judge rejected it, would you say Biden had done anything reasonably possible? Would you demand he find another way to release the information? If Biden's attorney general told Biden his name appeared in the Epstein files, would you still trust Biden to decide which Epstein records should be made public? Biden fired 17 inspectors general immediately after taking office. Would you call it an attempt to eliminate government oversight over him? Biden used government power to punish Fox because he believed Fox was lying about him. Would you call that an attack on the First Amendment, or OANN, or Real America's Voice, or any other bullshit conservative news outlets, or propaganda machine, or whatever? Let's see. See the other ones that I've put in here. See, if Biden promised full transparency and then repeatedly found reasons to not release politically embarrassing records, would you believe his transparency promise? If not, why do you believe it for Trump? Biden launched, we already did the meme coin. We did the buying Intel stock. if Biden personally pressured regulators to benefit companies in which Biden or his family had financial interest, would you call that corruption? In fact, they do. They believed that Biden or that Hunter Biden used Joe Biden to pressure like Burisma into giving him, money or whatever. They already believed that Hunter Biden did that, but Trump personally intervened in matters involving companies and industries that can affect his political and financial interests and those of his kids. Again, Biden done that, they'd flipped out.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, that scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Let's see. Ali Osher sent me this. Let's open this back up again. Small government, but for who? 85 days to vote. Small government, small for who? Less help, more control, same government. What gets cut? Food aid, Medicaid, disability help, housing, schools, worker protections. What stays big? Defense contracts, courts, policing, border enforcement, contractors, and tax breaks. Budget received $7 trillion spent with $5.2 trillion in revenue, a $1 trillion deficit, and $970 billion, so almost $1 trillion in interest being paid. The pension question, government congressional pension eligibility can begin at 62 plus 5 years, 50 plus 20 years, any age plus 25 years. Why is theirs earned but yours a dependency? There's 85 days to vote. November 3rd, 2026 is the midterms. Are the midterms? Check registration, know your status, deadlines, check early voting, check mail ballot timing, know your polling place, and make a voting plan. So yes, very good infographic there, Ali Osher. I do might not respond to everything you send, but I do appreciate the stuff that you do send me. Keep sending. We do appreciate it greatly. Or I do at least. So let's close that pack again. That. Let's see. Anything else on this thing that I've created? This little list or whatever. It's kind of a list in 3 or 4 different places, but still, some of these things didn't necessarily make too much sense as it was turned to me in my search or whatever. But yeah, I think a lot of the other ones were like the DEI questions, but would you oppose affirmative action for vets or whatever? That sort of thing I think would really be great to ask them, because again, if you're hiring a veteran just because they're a veteran and you're not looking at their experience, then it's problematic. But usually they would probably answer you, but they're not hiring veterans just because they're experienced, just because they're veterans. They're hiring them because they're experienced and trained and because they happen to be veterans. And be like, that's what DEI does as well. Simple as that. So anyway, it's 9:52. Let us go ahead and do this. I still need to download and manipulate that image, simply because of the fact that I don't have the one to share on the screen right now. However, actually that's kind of bright. I'd rather it not be as bright. But we will go ahead and open up. Did I already hit that, or did I play the sound incorrectly before? But anyway, the phone lines are open. 562-LIBDAN1, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-542-3261. If you would like to call in and have a chat, we're going to try and keep it at about, what happened to the doc? What's up, doc? I don't know what happened to it. It disappeared. Anyway, if you would like to call in and make a comment, etc., let's keep it to like 5 minutes or less in the call, simply because we want to be able to make sure that we can let other people call in who want to. So again, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-542-3261. Let me go ahead and minimize everything here because I can't find that window. Cannot find it. It's lost. It is lost. I don't know where the chat window is. Let's just log in. I guess I have to log into Twitch and see. do it that way. Creator dashboard. I'm going to need that anyway if I'm going to want to, whatchamacallit, if I'm going to want to raid Henry. So, here we go. Let's bring the soundboard back up. Soundborg. We are Soundborg. Resistance is futile. And we'll bring that up as well, just to make sure we have everything available. And then we'll do this, making everything all nice and tidy and neat, or what have you. But again, 562-LibDen1, 562-542-3261. Come join the show. Call in, give your comments, complaints. If you're conservative, debate me. Anything I said there. Give me a debate. Let's debate a topic. What's up, Alvin? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Again, everybody who has come in. We have 69 concurrent viewers. Nice. Or that should deserve a... But 69 current viewers, 80 likes, so thank you. If you have come in and you haven't liked it yet, if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to do so. Because we need the algorithm help. As we always say, Algor needs more rhythm. The best way to support the show is like, share, subscribe, comment, respond to people's comments. Get into it with conservatives. Give them a good verbal or written tongue lashing, so to speak, or would it be a finger lashing if you're typing instead of a tongue lashing? But give them whatever lashing they deserve. And that'll, again, you'll go back and forth with conservatives, and it'll help the algorithm to help more people see it, and that's the way we're going to grow subs. See, imagine if Joe Biden had started a war with Iran without congressional approval, depleted weapons caches in the SOR, and then had a Secretary of Defense before Congress say he needs billions upon billions of the requests. Imagine what would have happened.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
You call me, I'm a conservative, that's more left than you. But I'm British, so... From across the pond... The conservative British party is more to the left than the Democrats, eh? It's kind of a weird mix of accents there, I won't lie. I kind of confused a few of them there. So, started off with a little bit of Cockney accent, and then went into an Australia, mate. So, but it happens, as old Trumpy boy says again. Thank you, Donald. We're not going to leave the phone lines open too long. If there's no interest to call, we will shut down the phone lines and end the show soon because I have stuff to do, but I did want to give the opportunity because I have not been as good recently as normal as opening up the phone lines because I do want to have more people calling in, do want to have more people interacting. I do want to see, MAGA folks come in and behave. I want them to behave when they call in, but I would like to have some MAGA folks call in and debate those issues. I'd love to be able to bring up my points, some of my points that I made to said MAGA folks, like, for example, if you're against our mRNA vaccine so badly, if mRNA is the problem, why didn't you get Novavax? So there you go. Frank says, I got into it with political punt about Uncle Joe, lost my shit, I'm going to be silent and be thought the fool, thanks. There we go. There is our friend. We got Big Hook calling in from Canada as well. Welcome, Big Hook. Happy Monday. How are you doing today?
Same as always. Just doing what I do and watching you guys live your lives in terror of what the Fuhrer will do next.
Well, it's very hard to not watch a train wreck, right? Yeah, but there's too many bodies and blood on asphalt to really be all that interested, outside of I don't know, the effects it has on us. I mean, as Texas Paul was saying, it's like the price of gas went down, but it's based on false futures basically promoted by Trump. Market manipulation.
Right, which
That's why I'm so against the whole taco thing, because most of the times people call things taco, it's not taco. It's him being a con artist. It's him not chickening out. It's him manipulating the market for his financial advantage and the advantage financially of his kids and friends and etc. If he really has friends.
Have a nice one.
So.
Yeah, but that's it. That's just it. Like.
Yeah, Alvin in the chat says, how
be...
about paying 3 doctor visits for 3 shots? Which is true, but actually, in reality, let me address that point. If you're going to the doctors to go get a vaccine should be considered preventive health care and as such covered 100% first dollar if you're insured, but you still have to pay the cost to get to the doctor's office. But if you now have to pay for 3 doctor's visits, that's going to cause the insurance companies more money, which is going to cause premiums to go up. So everybody's going to have to pay more money because it's going to cost, because not only now do we have to not just pay for 1 doctor's visit at 100% first dollar, we have to pay for 3 ones, plus, to travel back and forth or whatever, but it's going to cause insurance rates to go up. So another very good point from the chat here. I didn't think about the paying for the doctor's visits, because even if we don't have to pay for it out of pocket up front, it's going to come out of our asses on the back end, literally, when we have to bend over and take it from the insurance companies.
Oh my. You realize that up here in Canada, we can get our vaccinations via a pharmacy, and we don't have to get permission or a doctor's note or a doctor's visit or any of that shit.
We can also do, like, I've gone to Walgreens. I went to Walgreens and I got my COVID vaccination. I got my flu vaccination last year, the flu shot, COVID shot. And I'm actually, Walgreens told me I was due for 2 other shots as well, so I need to look into that and see what those are. We absolutely can go to a drugstore and not go to a doctor, but still, it's multiple visits. And I'm sure potentially they're getting some money for the preventive visit, so it's gonna whatever the charges it's gonna do, it's gonna be more expensive overall. It's probably more. You're gonna go through more needles. You're gonna go through more vials. You're gonna go through a whole bunch more stuff just because these people don't embrace science. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why this whole shit is stupid. But that's what we voted for. We voted for stupid.
Well, as I recall, the only stipulation that they had was after they vaccinated you, you had to sit there for a half an hour to make sure that you didn't have an adverse reaction that would require them to give you a steroid to get over an allergic reaction. But outside of that, I mean, everything is covered by universal health care up here in Canada, and that's the thing. We just look at you guys and shake our heads and go, you guys just don't have enough misery in your life. I mean, you've got unregulated guns, you've got, mumps, measles, and rubella going around unchecked. You've got, crazy people who, do all kinds of strange stuff. You've got killings by the law enforcement as well as ICE and all the rest of it, what I mean? And then to make yourself feel better, you go and indulge in illegal drugs that are not tested, and as a result will kill you if you don't know your supplier and can trust that you're getting what you think you're getting. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, Dan. You guys live in the land of the free and the stupid, I guess. It's what else can I say or add to the conversation?
Say, or the land of the dumb, or some other. We have to come up with a Star-Spangled Banner for the dummies. Some might say that our national anthem is for dummies because, again, we voted Trump twice. So,
yeah, but that's just it. Like, patriotism is, Canadians celebrate it by singing "Oh Canada," but outside of that, unless it's a really special event, we don't go around waving Canadian flags endlessly and rubbing it in your face or anything outside of the hockey arena. I mean, that's basically it. Outside of the other thing, which was when the Toronto Raptors won the world championship. But I mean,
Right.
for the most part, we keep it down low. We're very proud of our athletes and whatnot, and and as a result, we just.
Wait, did I lose you? I don't hear you. What happened? Did he lose
That's why
the signal?
we're so disappointed.
I just lost the last 5 seconds of you, so I don't know what happened, but we didn't hear what you said the last 5 seconds. No problem.
I said we have a peace of mind, which is very comforting because we know that all the bad, horrible things that could possibly happen to us are not going to bankrupt us, make us homeless. We don't fear for guns. We don't, I mean, the highest level crime up here is either selling drugs or stealing cars and shipping them over to Ethiopia. And that's about it.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty much the extent of the crime up here, and you guys, holy crap, you guys have it everywhere. It's within your political arena. It's within your, the state political arena amongst, I mean, there is nothing that you guys don't get involved in. And then you go around and say, oh, but we're the world's, police. And we go around and bomb countries, and start wars and kill millions of people. And, and we're the shit kickers of the world, and you have to respect us because we have the most guns, weapons, and Air Force and all the rest of the crap that you're so proud of.
We own more guns
Enough
than
already.
anybody combined. We can shoot everybody 15 times and still have bullets left in their clips.
And then you sell it all down to Mexico, making their country even worse. And then as well as, Israel, you provide them weapons because the settlers have to be able to settle their disputes with the Palestinians who have lived there for 5 generations via American weapons. I mean, like, you realize that this is the thing. The American legacy is to start stuff and to always be connected with some sort of, thievery, death, destruction. It's really, really fucking tiring. Like, it's like we look at you and we say, oh, those are our really slow relatives who just can't get it together. I mean, I don't know. And we go, oh, maybe it's something in the water or whatever. I mean, like we try to be as polite as possible, but it's got to come to an end at some point in time. I mean, what else can I say? Grow the fuck up.
We in New Orleans, on the West Bank of New Orleans at least, so we came home Friday night and we had no water. Come to find out that there's some contractor had bashed a pipe in all of Algiers. The entirety of Orleans Parish on the West Bank was out of water, and we've been under a boil water advisory since then, all the way till the afternoon today. Like about 5-ish o'clock in the afternoon is when they finally took down the boil order. And it's just like, it usually takes 24 hours to test, but they apparently wanted to take longer because, well, we're Algiers, we're the redheaded stepchild. So now
you're the new Flint, Michigan.
Not quite as bad as Flint. Although there is still one neighborhood where they still don't have any water or they're still doing testing on the water in one particular neighborhood. But yeah, my sons were asking me, have they lifted the boil order yet? Have they lifted the boil order yet? Because like my youngest one was afraid to even shower with it on or whatever. I'm like, well, please at least use deodorant if you're not going to do that. And then
I hear you guys have cases of the explosive diarrhea there too. And on top of that, you had Bill Cassidy, your favorite senator, who went out there and basically said, I had to vote for Blanche because Trump's got my balls in a vice, and if I don't vote for him, he's going to crush them because I don't use them anymore, but it would still be fucking cool. I mean, what else do you want me to say?
I mean, not only do we have the shit lettuce, now we have shitty jalapenos too. And that's been spreading here as well. And it's the same farm. It's Taylor Farms screwing that up again. And was it last week? I think people finally died from the shitty lettuce issue.
Five people have died now.
Yeah, 5 people have
died.
I think
the death count is up to 5.
Yeah, I mean, look, and how much of there was a willingness to do it. I was thinking of this over the weekend as well. Like, and it's related to, we've talked about this similarly before, but if Republicans, conservatives, etc., will absolutely support the death penalty for if one person murders one other person, if they knowingly and willingly take an action that results in the death of somebody else, they will support the death penalty for that person. These people truly believe that corporations are people, yet they won't support the killing of that corporation if they kill 5, 10, 50, 100 people. If it could be willful actions done on the part of the corporation, and they could die, and they don't give a shit, and they won't say, well, give the death penalty to the corporation, especially if they're invested in it. So,
yeah, but I mean, you guys already have Texas, where murdering somebody will get you a 10-year sentence, but having marijuana will get you 20 to life.
Yeah.
You know, like
you guys murdering really somebody will get you a sentence,
and
unless you're shooting somebody in the back who's fleeing your neighbor's property with a stolen TV. Then you can shoot them like Joe Horn did, and not the football player, for those who know. But you could shoot him like Joe Horn did, and then not be prosecuted or not be convicted of any crime because they're protecting the property. Because to them, things are more important than people. So,
yeah, like I said, I thank every day I wake up here in Canada because, you know what? I don't have to worry about all that kind of shit. Every day I look at it and I think to myself, every day I would scare myself to fucking death reading the newspaper about what you guys do down there nationally. I mean, it's just sickening. And like I said, no offense, but you know what? Grow the fuck up. Get your priorities straight. Why can't you be a civilized Western nation and join the rest of the world? You know, you guys,
I'm not
revel
offended
in being miserable.
I'm not offended when people talk about how horrible men are because I know that they're not talking about me. But if they do talk about me, I'm open to getting criticized as to what I am. So when you talk about how shitty and dumb we are as a country, I don't take it personally because I think we're shitty and dumb too. So on that, we're in full agreement. And also, I think I should probably practice at some point because maybe there's some point where we'll have to just flee up to Canada and you know, come up there to flee the horribleness. So I may have to practice my my rendition of your national anthem. So let me see if I can.
Well,
get this right.
You know what, Dan? It's only a matter of time before Louisiana makes marijuana and edibles illegal there too, and then you won't be able to enjoy anything. You know,
I was actually surprised when they made it legal to have medicinal marijuana here. You still can't have personal use marijuana in Louisiana. I was actually shocked when they made medicinal marijuana legal. They did kind of rein back a little bit on what could be sold in like of the Delta 9, the hemp version of that with the THC or whatever that comes in the Delta. I think Delta 9 is the one that gets sold other places where you can only have a single serving and it can be no greater than that. But the Delta 8 stuff, the regular stuff, can still be sold, but you have to have a, quote, recommendation. Of course, how hard is it to get a recommendation? It's a phone call. So,
yeah, but that's the thing. When you guys make it illegal, you drive it underground, and guess what happens? It then gets mixed with fentanyl and other things like that. You know, so you can't trust. You know, unless you really know your dealer. You're taking your life in your own hands, and that's just it. You know, I mean, that's the depths of stupidity that you guys have to go through to be able to, you know, share the same liberties that we have up here. I mean, marijuana has been legal up here since forever. The government saw the problem. They realized the cost of enforcing it was far greater than the damage it was doing, and they just legalized it and said, fuck it, make it available everywhere, and and monetize it and tax the shit out of it and put the money back into healthcare. And that's what they did. It's not rocket science. You guys are so fucking far behind the times, it isn't funny anymore.
Nope,
I
agree. Anyway,
I'll leave it at that. I can't.
Perfect.
I
Look, I appreciate it. Well, I just want to open up the phones for maybe somebody else, see if they want to call in or whatever, or just go to bed more quickly because, I didn't sleep well again last night. But anyway, thank you, Big Hook. I always love it when you call in.
Dan, and if you're, if you're going to come up to Canada and your wife says she's not really cool with winters, you got to come to Vancouver because we don't have harsh winters like the rest of Canada, and this will be the perfect place if you can figure it out. So just to let you know.
All right, sounds good, man. Have a good one. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
All right, now is Big Hook. We're still going to keep the phone lines open for a few more minutes. 562-LIBDAN1, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-542-3261. Of course, if I do move up to Canada, I'm going to have to know how to sing the national anthem of Canada. So... Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. So maybe I'll get in because I can sing the national anthem of Canada better than most people who are Americans, at least, which is probably not much, right? So so how are my Canadians feeling about my rendition of your national anthem? So I forget when exactly I learned how to. I mean, I don't know all of the words per se. Like I had to read the words from it. I knew most of them, but I did know the tune, right? Groovy Hot Rod over on Twitch. You daggum liberals and your fanciful book learning think you're so smart? Why, yes, I reckon we do there, Groovy Hot Rod. I appreciate it. Revilby says, well done. Thank you so much. 56 Nick Rich says that was just fine. Thank you. Christine goes, if Oregon gets any hotter, we'll be heading north. Man, could you imagine the Liberal Dan After Dark party that might take place if we all have to move up to the Pacific Northwest? So, Surrender Monkey says, we need God Save the King. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for Trump either, right? And if I start singing God Save the King, then Donald Trump might start thinking I'm talking about him, and I'm absolutely not. So, we were talking about legal THC for a little bit, Susie, simply because of the fact that Texas, and might have to look into that for the next show, Texas apparently has made the crime of THC much more detrimental. So while we're looking at talking about and waiting for other calls, I can go ahead and wait, where's that? Here we go. Let's go ahead and start taking a note for the 812 show. Just so we can have it and say, look up Texas crap about THC, look up TikTok and men issue video things that Big Hook brought up, etc. So yeah, Surrender monkey. Fair enough. See, healthcare stock, 3 more visits, up your deductible. There you go. Yeah. Buy stock in United Healthcare. That's the stock to invest in, right? United Healthcare, because they so much want to deny your coverage that they put profits over people that it makes it attractive for an investor, right? Let's see. I don't mind winters in southern Ontario. Yeah, it gets cold with lots of snow. The rest of the seasons have a wide range of weather conditions. If you don't like the weather, wait a few hours. That's almost like New Orleans. If you don't like the weather, wait a few hours as well, because it'll be cold, be hot. There's times in the winter where it's been like 72 degrees in New Orleans and 32 degrees in Baton Rouge. Like, it's crazy how the difference can change just because of Lake Pontchartrain. Which has the bridge that's the longest bridge in the world over a single body of water. They have to change how it's worded because I think China made a longer bridge, but it's over 2 bodies of water at least. So yeah, there's that. So Texas is totally nuts. 70 years behind bars for protesting. Ugh. Well, of course, then there's the people who go in there and just simply protest. I mean, it's your First Amendment right to protest, and that's why we say this administration is a fascist administration, because they want to lock people up simply for protesting and are calling the protesting something else. So, anyway, doesn't look like anybody else is calling in, so we're going to go ahead and shut off the phone lines for now. Of course, if you want to call in, we'll open up the phone lines later on in the week, too. Does THC stand for Trump hair conditioner? I don't know. I think it's just regular soap since he got a toupee, right? Since he did get a hell toupee, right? Jen says Republicans have all inspired an SVU episode. Unfortunately, that sounds correct as well. Anyway, thank you for the laugh, Groovy Hot Rod, for the daggum liberals. Appreciate it. Anyway, so we are going to end the show for today. On Twitch, we will run over and do a raid on Henry's stream. We have 17 viewers, so that if we do go over there to raid Henry's stream, we'll play 1 song and then we'll head on over there. If you do want to go ahead and raid, just give him a little follow over there as well, just to help out his algorithm, because his algor needs more rhythm too, and I think he needs a couple more views and or whatever. And I think the last time we raided him, his views went up. Hasn't quite happened for me yet when Hal raids me, but you know, as old Trumpy says,
It is what it is.
Anyway, thank y'all very much. Appreciate you. Let's play a song as we're heading out. We'll do another Had Biden Done It, since that was the theme of the song, and then we'll on Twitch we'll raid Henry's stream if he's still live. Anyway, have a great one. We will see you next time. Peace.
Had Biden done it?
Oh wait, that's just the chorus. I hit the wrong button. Jen had an after-work nap. I needed one of those too, but I didn't get one because I had to do the show. Anyway, here's the real song. Peace.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall, promised Mexico would fund that wall. Praised dictators, said they're strong. Had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, they'd scream foul play, but Trump did it, so it
it.